Hey everyone, my name is Taryn and thank you so much for stopping by my channel, Nicole Flower House. I grow cut flowers here in Zone 7B in North Carolina. I've been meaning to do an update video and things have just gotten away from me a little bit as usual as far as time, but I am here to show you everything that I have going on the farm. Back here you may have remembered were all of my tulips, and all of my tulips have already bloomed and I've already pulled them all. So they started blooming super early in February. I think I did better than last year with my tulips, but I still had a ton of loss. I had cold storage, but not enough, especially for tulips to be blooming in February. I also really struggled with tulip fire this year. So this is a brand new spot, but I'm learning a lot on how to figure out if there's bacterial disease on the bulbs before you plant them. And so I think I just had some bulbs that may have spread tulip fire to a lot of my plants this year, which is really sad. The no-till method that I used was great. The first variety that I was pulling had a lot of broken stems and it was really annoying, but those turned out to be highly affected by the tulip fire. The rest of my varieties were coming out really cleanly. So I like this no dig method where I just set the tulip bulbs on top and mulched them with the leaf mulch. It worked really good. So I was really disappointed with the amount of tulips that I lost due to the tulip fire and also the fluctuating temperatures. That's just something I have to deal with here in North Carolina. It's really cold for 1 week and then it's like practically summer weather the next week. I mean, we hit the high 70s in February and then it got cold again, and so it was just very inconsistent temperatures, which is hard to do tulips that way. I'm really leaning toward doing hydroponic tulips next year. I'm taking the tulip workshop, I'm learning all about it, and I definitely want to do things differently because I don't want to keep taking this much loss on my tulips. I don't know where to put the tulips for 7 years to rotate them for the tulip fire anyway. I definitely can't have tulips anywhere near this space next year. Also, having a controlled environment as far as temperature for rooting and growing and all that stuff with the hydroponic may be just what I need to have a successful tulip season. The other thing I really need is more refrigerators, like a lot of refrigerators. I've gone back and forth with maybe getting a CoolBot cooler or a walk-in cooler of some kind, and the refrigerators just seem more of what I'm interested in, just for simplicity. And I'm also worried about like maintenance. The expense of a walk-in cooler is a lot and more than I want to pay right now. So with the refrigerators, I can get one at a time as I make the money from the farm to buy those refrigerators. So that's what I'm going for. And I think I just want like 2 or 3 more. I added one this year, so I have 2 total. I think adding a few more before the next season starts will be really helpful. This space where I had the tulips is where I'm going to put my dahlias this season coming up. I have expanded these rows. So before, these rows ended right here. This is where they ended. And I have since tilled up the grass and the weeds on this half of them. I do not till normally. I just did one initial tilling to help get rid of a lot of the weeds. You can see there's a lot of grass and stuff still left in there. And I'm using a hand tool to basically scrape all that out. This is the bed that I have completely finished. Looks really good. So I'm going to get this mulched. I have a lot of extra mulch from the tulips over here that I'm going to spread this way, and I am going to only put 2 rows that are 18 inches apart in the center of this and space the dahlias at 12 inches. That way the corralling will hopefully work. And I'm also going to do what's called hilling, where I hill the mulch up really high on the stems of the dahlias. I've been working really hard at getting all of these rows ready for planting. I've been following Lisa Mason Ziegler's recommendations on trying to get sunflowers really early. So I have some successions of sunflowers already going. Seed for sunflowers, I have a lot of it. So if these don't make it, I'll be okay. But she likes to have sunflowers as her focal for Mother's Day, and I think that's really good. Lisa and I are in a similar growing zone, so I can follow a lot of her practices, and they should work for me. Here is my anemone bed. I've just harvested it, so there's not a lot to look at here. But they've given me so many blooms. And I've just left them in the ground from last season. In the corner, this is kind of fun. I have a cress plant that self-seeded itself. So I should be getting some cress off of that. This is Orlea that self-seeded, and it's going to bloom soon. I need to put this hose away. It's been here since last year. Here are a few of my ranunculus. These are the ones that I planted out, and they're about done. They're getting toasted, you guys. I feel like it's been so hot. Well, not hot, but we've been getting into the high 70s. The ranunculus just don't like that, so they're like hanging on, but they're pretty much done too. I've been harvesting them, so there's not a lot of buds on them. I also have a ton more planted in here in the tunnel because Scully and the rabbits and the deer all like to eat these. These are the Valentine's Day ranunculus. Still have buds, but the foliage is just kind of petering out. The last time I fertilized these, they got aphids, so I'm like really scared to do it again, but they kind of need something. They've given me a ton of blooms, so I think they're just kind of done, which is weird because it's only March, but they just got too hot, I think. And here are the rest of my anemones. You probably can't even see them through all the weeds. And I also just harvested not too long ago, so it's kind of hard to see. These, I had to sacrifice some plants here in the middle so that I had a walkway to walk down. Sorry about all the grass on these. I just mowed grass right before this, so they're kind of dirty. But this is Rudbeckia. It's self-seeded from last year. Something's eating on here, but they seem to be doing okay. I didn't plant those. Those came up on their own, and I'm going to let them live there. I've heard that Rudbeckia is supposed to be like a gentle reseeder, but it kind of is everywhere. I'm not that upset about it. I'm going to let it go, but there's a lot of Rudbeckia. This is my yarrow that overwintered from last season, looking really good. These yarrows that are smaller, you can see they're much smaller than those. These I planted out in like February from little seedlings. And then I have some even smaller seedlings that I planted out after that. So I have like a succession going. I don't think it's going to change the bloom time on these at all, but you know, I'm just getting stuff out here as I have time. This is a bed of Lisianthus that has overwintered. It has some ranunculus popping out that I missed from last year, so these haven't bloomed yet, so I wonder if I throw some shade cloth on these, if they'll appreciate that and bloom a little longer for me. These Lisianthus are ones that I got from plugs from Farmer Bailey. They look really good. I had some of my own that bloomed last year that I had overwintered from the previous season. but I killed them by trying to transplant them. So I moved them from along the fence line to this bed here, and they're dead. There's nothing coming up there. So we're starting over. I still have all of those, and then all of the seedlings. I have a lot of Lisianthus. I am lucky that I can overwinter my Lisianthus, so hopefully I won't need to start seeds for that after this year. These Lisianthus may not even bloom this year. I started them in late January or February, which is really too late for Lisianthus, but they will overwinter and bloom for me next year if I don't get blooms this season. These are starflower scabiosa. Those overwintered. This is some status that I planted in maybe February. These are, what are these? Carnations. Chabot series. Overwintered. I don't know if I'll do these again. They always smell really nice, so I like planting them, but they're okay. Here's a bachelor's button that I planted in the fall and has overwintered along with this one and this one. So they're getting buds on them, so we'll have plenty of flowers very soon on those. I have snapdragons that are budded up. These snapdragons, I believe I planted them February. I'm getting confused. I think everything that I planted in the fall is over in my rose garden. And these are all very like late winter, early spring planted snapdragons. These I did not pinch because I wanted really tall, thick stems on these. These seedlings, again, are an early spring planting. They sat for a while and didn't do much, but they're just now starting to put on some growth and some size. These are, oh, I can't read that tag. I was trying to do so much better with labeling. Oh, here we go. Winged Everlasting. So I'm growing these for dried stuff. They're not technically frost tolerant, but they've worked out for me. I've had to keep these under some pretty heavy duty frost cloth the past month or so, and they've survived. This over here is cilantro. So when it starts getting too hot, this will go to it'll go to seed and flower and be really pretty filler for me. This down here is more Bouquet. I have some cress growing. My Gypsophila, this is baby's breath, annual baby's breath. Don't see much there. The cress though is, I did this in several successions, but I'm not sure if they will bloom in succession like I wanted. It seemed like all the seedlings just kind of sat where they were and didn't grow till it started warming up a little. These are stock in different stages of growth. Again, succession planted, but they're all kind of catching up with each other. There's some more snapdragons. These are further along than my seed started soil blocks, but very small still. These are volunteer pumpkins, and I'm going to let them go. I like pumpkins. I rarely get any to maturity because of vine borers, but I'm going to try. These are more snapdragons. So again, I'm trying to just do different successions this year to stagger the harvest better. These I believe are scabiosa, if this tag right here is right. I have some self-seeded poppies that are also starting to bloom. Back here along the fence, this is Sweet William. I did not know there were multiple versions of Sweet William, perennial versus annual and that kind of thing. So we'll see what I get. Not sure. And I don't know why those ones are so much bigger. They're all the same thing. There's another one. This is thornless raspberry. This is a good foliage plant to have. And then these are lupins. They do not like the cold. Even though they're perennials, I can tell they're getting a little cold damage, but they've survived. So hopefully they'll pull through. Like this guy looks bad, but these leaves look nice. The whole all the way down the line here. Lupins. This right here I'm really excited about. This is my oregano. I cut it way back really hard and it has come back so nice. I love when oregano flowers. I did have mums under there. Like here's one sticking out. This is a mum. And like right here, this is the mum. This is a weed. This is oregano. So anyways, I don't know how the mums will do with how strongly the oregano is doing, but I've ordered new mums. I want to do a whole row of heirloom mums, and I have cuttings coming in at some point. So last season, these rows right here were mostly dahlias. You may be wondering, why am I planting dahlias back there if my dahlias are up here and normally I don't dig them out? And most of my dahlias did not survive that polar freeze or whatever it was that we had. I didn't take any extra precautions because I was kind of wanting to start my dahlia collection over again anyways. So I did. I've ordered a ton new varieties in. I'm waiting on them to come in, and I can't wait because I have a whole plan of how I want to plant them in rainbow order. I'm currently waiting on those tubers to come in because I feel like I need all of them before I can start planting because I want to plant them in a certain order. So I can plant those pretty soon. It's not quite warm enough, but as soon as I get all those tubers, I'm going to start planting. And since my dahlias will be moved to that new place in the back where the tulips were, I plan on doing all my zinnias and cosmos and sunflowers and stuff up here in the front. I've done a ton of work to the rose garden. Everything's been pruned and cleaned up and mulched. They look really good. I had coppiced this whole Siberian elm tree line. They were causing a lot of shade, so I think they'll still put up kind of more of like a hedge-like growth now. We'll see. But everything has really nice new growth on it. Strawberry Hill is just going to town over here. I did prune and train on the trellis, and there's so much new growth. This back here is a peony that I transplanted from my grandmother's house. She passed away quite a few years ago, but this is her plant and it's looking really good. It was a transplant from last year and it didn't do well in our heat. But this year it's come back really strong. I don't know if it'll bloom or not. I don't see, oh, here's a little bud on it right here. It did not bloom for me last year. I think it's planted at the correct depth. My other peonies typically bloom. I did everything the same, so might have just been transplant shock. Mixed in all of these weeds are some of my winter planted plants. These are scabiosa. That's actually a peony there. So you can see some peonies mixed in with these scabiosa plants. Some more rudbeckia. This is Silene blushing lanterns. This is more Orlea. Probably won't ever have to plant that again. It'll probably come back every year right there. Some peonies. See the roses back there behind everything. And right here I have some snapdragons that I did pinch, and they're really short and not very big. So we'll see if these are useful or not, but they are budding up as well. Here's a look at one of those Siberian elms. So still putting on some growth, even though we coppiced those down. I have quite a few seedlings going here and different methods. I really want to get behind soil blocking and do soil blocking, but I'm not getting the results that I want out of them. These look pretty good, but my germination is pretty bad with the soil blocks. I've tried a couple different blocking mixes. These look okay. They're not terrible. They're just not as predictable for smaller seeds like this tray. These are my snapdragons. These bigger seeds, this is cress, this is stalk, they seem to do fine. This is silene, but again, just really bad germination. However, I did start Lisianthus from seed in the soil blocks, and those did fine. These were started in soil blocks, and I've transplanted them up into these cell trays to give them some more space. These ones are looking the best back here. That's the yellow variety that I had planted. Here's some eucalyptus seedlings. Now here are some more snapdragons. I just had a lot better germination in this tray than I did in the soil blocks. The cress and the baby's breath seems to germinate no matter where I put it, so those look good. This tray has warm season annuals in it. Some pretty good germination. Not my best. I don't know what's going on this year. I have brand new seed and just not having the same luck that I normally do. This here is a tray of zinnias that I started. My envy have hardly any germination. The rest of these seem to do okay. It's a little early for zinnias, but I have plenty of seeds, so if these get frosted, I have a lot more that I can start. This tray right here is Bootstrap. I've not grown this before, but I'm excited that I got really good germination on this. These would not germinate for me in my seed room, so I put them outside to experience all the cold and warm temperatures, which I think is what Bootstrap likes, and they've popped up. So that helped a lot to put this tray outside when we were still getting those below freezing temperatures overnight. now we're in the super messy garage, but I just wanted to show you inside here. These are the tulips I have left. Not much. They're holding well in here. But this is all I have for Easter, which is in about a week, so like I said, I lost a lot to tulip fire and to not having enough cooler space. And I've also had 12 CSA members this year getting deliveries regularly. So not much left, which is good. Try to sell them all. This here is the new fridge that I got. It's an upright one. Here's a lot of anemones that I have holding in here. It's a little empty too because I'm just getting toward the end of my CSA. Here's a bunch of the Ranunculus that I harvested earlier today. So those look really good. Nice Valentine's Day colors, but a little late on that. And then some more anemones. And here's some cress. I figured that would hold pretty well in the cooler. Not really sure, so just trying some things out there. Here's a look at some of the dahlias that have started coming in. I'm not keeping them cold. I'm letting them wake up a little bit because I hope to plant these out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I have some all different farms that I've bought them from, looking for specific ones. I'm really excited about the varieties. I have Bear Creek Farm, River Merle, bunch of different stuff here. I did a bouquet bar not too long ago. These are the bouquets. These are like 2 weeks old. These are the ones that didn't sell, but I still like kind of want to leave them for myself to enjoy. They're in water, but they're just tulips and greenery, and here's a bachelor button and ranunculus and all kinds of fringed tulips, lots of pretty stuff that I had in these. So that was fun to partner with some yoga teachers and my friends that have an event space. So that was a really good time. But this is just the leftovers, and obviously I can't sell these, but the flowers are just so pretty. I can't get rid of them yet. Look at that ranunculus right there. Ooh. Now this pile of awesomeness is a huge pile of grapevines. I have a friend that lives like 10 minutes from me, and she harvested her grapevines and she was like, "Do you want these?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So she just gave them to me. I have a ton. And I've made a few wreaths out of them, which is what I plan to do, is make wreaths. I want to have a Christmas business in the next few seasons, so I think I have enough grapevine to get that going. I'm really, really happy about this. It looks like a lot. It is a lot. I have a lot of wreaths to be making, but this will keep just fine, and I will be working on this throughout the season to get this finished and cleaned up. And right here is my pile. This is the willow harvest that I got. Not very much, but it's not a big deal anymore because I have all of this. So still local, about 10 minutes from where I live. I really appreciate her gifting this to me, so we will have plenty of wreaths from here on out.